Good morning. Focus Daily TV back. Hit that like button, subscribe. Today we will be speaking about House Joint Resolution 192. What exactly is House Joint Resolution 192, HR 192? It is the moment that they legally placed us in debt to the federal government through the removal of the gold standard and placing us within this fiat matrix form of government that we currently exist in. This maritime admiralty law driven system that we have become a part of, which once again placed us within debt, in debt to the evil one, unfortunately. However, redemption and salvation can be received through this truth I'm presenting, but most importantly, through the acceptance of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I speak about biblical terminology and biblical things in order to awaken the people to what's actually going on. No, this is not a religious channel. This is nothing like that. I'm speaking truly the words of God so that people can awaken and receive that redemption and salvation that we all need. So yeah, I might do that, light up a little something. But once again, this is not a religious channel. This is a truth channel. So let's get into a little bit of this HJR 192 and what exactly does it mean and how it affects us as a people and as a nation. What is HJR 192? Before HJR 192 passed, Executive Order 6102 was signed into effect by President Roosevelt. The executive order required all gold and gold certificates to be surrendered to the federal government by May 1st, 1933. What's the importance of the date 1933? In the conspiracy circles, they speak of the 33rd degree and Masonic symbolism. Well, this 1933 is that 33. It was the moment in time where they officially transferred us into the matrix, into the land of Oz, using legalese and paperwork to make us bondsmen and bondswomen. Let's continue. House Joint Resolution 192 was then passed by Congress on June 5th, 1933. The law was passed to do away with the gold clause in the Constitution and in all public and private contracts. If you go back about 6 or 7 shows, we speak about the difference between public and private laws and contracts and things of that nature. Be sure to go back and check those videos out so you can be more in tune with this information and this truth that I'm presenting. By the way, hit that like button, subscribe. Hey, support the channel. Hashtag Focus Daily TV. Let's continue. 1933 was also when the United States went bankrupt. Now, this bankruptcy that it speaks of was an induced bankruptcy, was a false flag bankruptcy, was a bankruptcy that was placed upon the people to put us into a condition where we had pretty much no choice but to submit to their ideological subversion. Placed us in a situation where we were, I want to say, forced to follow their lead and become a part of this federal demonic system. 1933 was also when the United States went bankrupt, which was not the first time that it went bankrupt. In fact, the United States was so far in debt, and once again, they placed the debt upon us, that it went bankrupt 2 additional times previously. Once in 1789, forming the Constitution so the states could sign on as security for the Fed's debt. And then in 1861, when the Southern states said no more and wanted to secede rather than sign on to another pledging of assets to pay the federal government's debts. They were juggling this debt and creating this debt. So once they placed this debt upon us, we were so far in debt that the Lord's Prayer even speaks of it. Speaks of the debt. Forgive us for our debts as we forgive our debtors. This is the debt that it speaks on, debts that were placed upon our souls. But let's continue to speak more about it. Then in 1933, with H.J.R. 192, they took all the gold, all the true money, all the property, and the land, which included self, and instituted eminent domain and property taxes, divided land titles. Land titles. The title to our land, commonly known as birth certificates, and instituted the income tax to control the labor of the people. In addition, with H.J.R. 192 is when they instituted the birth certificate to control the people. They instituted birth certificates to control the people and have the future American people become the collateral for all the federal government debts. So there it is. With the initiation of birth certificates, social security numbers, what they actually was doing was creating bonds and making us bond men and bond women. We were sold, but nobody bought us like the African slavery myth teaches us. We were sold into legalized witchcraft, spells written on parchments, H.J.R. 192 resolutions. Let's continue. And have the future American people become collateral for all federal government debts. Yes, that's right. Your birth certificate is the title to your body, and it has been pledged as an asset. Pledging allegiances and all that they make us do in the indoctrination system they call the educational system. Stay tuned for more. The holder has the right to the taxes, fines, fees, etc. that you pay to the government through judgments, case courses, payroll, income tax, property taxes, various disguises that they place what actually occurred under. Now, okay, I got a little video, real short, and then I'm gonna let y'all get out of here. Let's see what this guy has to say about it from another perspective.
Hashtag Tyler Dow. What is House Joint Resolution 192? And you should click the link below this video and become a Secure Party creditor now so you can reap the benefits. Before
what's the name of this guy channel? Deprogrammed Enlightenment. Check that out.
Before House Joint Resolution 192 was passed, Executive Order 6102 was signed into effect by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. The executive order required all gold and silver certificates be surrendered to the federal government by May the 1st, 1933. Thus, House Joint Resolution 192 was passed by Congress on June the 5th, 1933. This law was passed to do away with the gold clause in the Constitution. You could no longer pay for things with gold or silver. In 1933 was not.
Now, once they took away our ability to pay for things with true money, it was kind of like, once again, we were forced to accept this fiat system. Unbeknownst to us, it was a system of debt slavery.
Not the first time the United States had actually went into bankruptcy, but the United States also had gone bankrupt in 1789 and again.
You're pretty much reading what I just introduced.
1860.
This is my first time saying this too.
House Joint Resolution was passed, we could no longer pay for things. We could no longer own anything. But it gives us a remedy to discharge it. Otherwise, it would be a fraud. Which brings me to the next thing. A closed checking account. What is a closed checking account? A closed checking account is a checking account that's been closed on both sides for deposits or withdrawals, but remains open for discharge and set off the debts. Here, see for yourself. Here it is right here in black and white, but you could actually just go to a Blackboard's dictionary and look up closed checking account, and you will see for yourself. Well, what does that mean? In my studies, I've actually been able to set off, settle, and close debts by taking that ACH and convert it into an EFT instrument.
Now, it's common conspiracy that it's something that you can do, turn in your Social Security. No, don't do none of that. It's only one thing that you can do, accept the truth that God has sent, accept his son's leadership, and especially accept the Father. He is the only way to free ourselves from this debt. Once again, it's even mentioned in the Lord's Prayer. Debt, forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. Let's go.
And discharge debt after debt. But Tazadak, what if they do not accept my payment? Well, there's something known as UCC 3-603B. Even if
don't try none of that at home.
they receive the payment and they refuse,
That'll just put you further in debt, unbeknownst to him. According
there is still discharge. Here, read it for yourself. There you see, if the tender payment is sent to someone entitled to enforce the payment and the tender is refused, there is discharge to the extent of the amount of the tender. Well, there you go. They've given you a remedy. You just don't know how to use it. This is why you're going to click the link below and become a secure party creditor now and get out of your debt. How do you learn more? You could click the link below this video. You could order my books on the website, and you could learn to be a creditor too. We can get you out of debt. This is Taza Doctrine. Hashtag TazaDoc. I'm certain that you've heard little bits and pieces of this information all throughout the internet, most of whom are really uneducated. They've actually ascertained information from me of my books.
I'll give it to him. He's trying to bring that truth. But until next time, hit that like button, subscribe, support the channel, hashtag Focus Daily TV, and we out.